Sergeant Miller, Idaho frog bait. That's hilarious. God Yam, God I am, God I am, Noreen, Noreen, an H, and maybe it's a silent H, Noreen. And it's what I can see there. I'm not going to scroll any. Oh, Gear Gemma. I don't think I mentioned Gear Gemma. Wonderful. And Narara, I think I said he's there. Good man. Station is not beholden to anyone. That means there's no sponsorship of any kind. That's right. We're not pushing any products. In fact, you are not the product. Usually when you go somewhere and do something and watch something or listen to something, you are the product, meaning, people are trying to sell you something. They put something interesting on for you to look at and hear and whatever, enjoy, and then at the same time they're trying to sell you stuff. We don't. The content is the product. Our wit and gum flappery hopefully keep you amused and come back for more. So yeah, no product here, which means, of course, that we urgently need all kinds of currency, including crypto, etc., etc. If you can donate, please do. If you cannot, that's okay. I dig it. In Australia, we just raised the interest rates again because it's good to do that. Oh, we need less people in houses, more people living in tents on the street. So if you can donate, please do. If you cannot, maybe tell someone about the station. That's a good idea. Tell someone about the station, and then they can donate on your behalf or their behalf, or just donate because they want to. Today is, in fact, the 7th of November, 2023. I'm not going to say anything about that date. And you can catch The Cave on the air, on the line, always on the line all the time, and on your smart device. So grab an app or not. Maybe you want to grab 2 apps to listen anywhere or listen at home. The Grace Table of Digital Radio. You can also use the archives for free. Another good reason to donate your hard-earned cash, because the archives are free. The broadcasts are free. The archives are free. All you have to do is click. Oh, I wish my life was that easy. Before we start broadcasting at you in anger, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast. Dave?
Yeah, I'm broadcasting from Dark and Junk Country.
Thank you, sir. I myself am in Darak, the country, quite nice today, and we would like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and future. My dear friend, I don't know if you checked our website, but we have another strike.
What?
Against them. Yeah. Now, this is... Okay, so this is me. This was against me. And it was when I was solo. And this was show number 467.
That was heaps ago.
What, 4 years? And the strike came only, it was me by myself, and I was apparently giving medical misinformation out. So I appealed, but
you push the button that says appeal and write some blurb, and that never eventuates anything.
So this was on the 5th. There's another one that was removed on the 3rd of November. Also me by myself. Show number 458.
Wow.
Which was even further back in time. So it took them a good, about 4 years. 3.5, 4 years it took them to catch up and to the Hasta la Vista shows. But it was me, so it's my fault, clearly. Two have been removed. So it's okay. It's just a warning. We had another one that was 485, and that appeal was rejected in 2021.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, these were shows we recorded 3.5, 4 years ago, Dave.
Yeah.
So they've been out there, clearly infecting people's minds.
So can you type the numbers in to our chat so I can just the show numbers, and I'll upload them immediately to Rumble.
Yeah, if you can. So okay, this is 458. There we go. And let's see what's the one. It's all me. It's all me. They don't like me. 467.
All right.
There you go. Anyway, so that happened. That happened. What else happened is that yes, people are calling it genocide. Not just us, not even necessarily the first, but people are calling what's happening genocide. Looking at the numbers and what's happening and the seemingly sheer brutality of it. But it's a thing. Now, South Africa has now cut all relations with Israel as well.
Wow.
All diplomatic relations. Yeah, this is the second country. There was another, I forget now. I think it was Ecuador. I'll double check. But people or countries are cutting diplomatic ties with Israel. And again, even faster than the United States after October 12th, did the Israelis squander the international outrage that was on their side. Okay, so so sorry, we have Bolivia. Bolivia has done this, and now South Africa also. It's a bit like that, because this is pretty bad stuff, Dave. I mean, you can look at it any which way you want. It's not playing well.
That's right, Mecky's musings. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not playing well, and things are. Well, I don't know if they're out of control, but certainly it's not going to make Israel any friends. And people are getting killed outside of that particular region of the world, taking part in protests, and an elderly Jewish gentleman was killed in a protest rally. I think it was in the States where he was killed. Yeah, so people are getting killed outside this conflict. Now, that's the interesting thing that was said just recently, yesterday or today, by a senior Hamas leader, which is Musa Abu Marzouk. And what he said was that women, children, and civilians were exempt from Hamas attacks. Right? So now the proof that he puts forward, he from video on Hamas body cameras, first and testimony, etc., etc. Israel says more than 1,400 people were killed by Hamas, most of them were civilians. But he said no, that we don't do that. So it's really very confusing at the moment. I mean, it's a bit late to deny it, I guess. It makes you wonder why he's denying it at all. Right? I don't know. It's just odd. And this whole thing is just not going well. Mr. Trump, of course, is now facing his real day in court, and that could end very poorly for him. But Dave, there's no law anywhere that states he cannot run for president if he's in prison.
That's right.
Nowhere does it say that. You can't. If you're federal...
We'll see. Yeah.
Well, no, but there isn't... Because the thing is this, the founding fathers, they probably thought... Well, actually, they probably didn't think about this. I mean, in their mind... I mean, think back 200-odd years, right? Mm-hmm. And when who could run for president, you had to be a well-to-do person, you had to, have a certain moral fiber, blah, blah, blah. I think it would have been inconceivable for them to imagine a time when a person that could be possibly indicted and on criminal charges, on civil charges, etc., would also be able to run for president. It must have been completely beyond their imagination, as it were, right? And I think that's where we are, though, Dave, today, with regards to AI and gene editing and all that stuff, right? Because in a couple hundred years' time, once we get our hands on the time machine, and we travel 200 years into the future, I don't think we would recognize anything. Anything. Because the rate of change that we experience today on a daily basis would only increase. So there are two options here. One, Dave and I travel 200 years into the future and it'll just be glass. It's just as far as the eye can see is glass, right? And when we come back, we'll just glow. That's one. Or two, we look around and our mind will not be able to comprehend what we see. It's like, what? Squeeze me? I think those are the two options. What do you reckon, Mike?
Wow. I'm still reeling from YouTube. I can't help it.
Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have told you.
Well, I've just uploaded the first one.
Thanks, buddy.
And I'm just doing the second one right now.
I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna see what the medical advice is that I gave.
I bet there was.
Stay alive. Stay alive. Eat chicken soup. I don't know.
Yeah, because when was this? This was what year?
Well, about 3.5. This probably the beginning of the beginning of the pandemic. I want to say.
That's all right.
Is that about right?
Yeah, probably.
Let me just double check.
I don't really care anymore. You know how it goes.
Of course you care. Of course you care.
Because I had one deleted recently.
As well?
Yeah. And what do you do? Yeah. So we self-censor anyway. We don't say everything that we think. We are careful and legally careful how we speak on air. It's very important. And I've got lawyer friends who have listened to the videos that have been complained about by YouTube that we're against either moral standards or medical misinformation or what. I don't really care what it is. And they say you've not said anything. My legal advice is that we didn't go against anything. We didn't break the rules. And yet you get nothing. I mean, you're talking to a brick wall when you attempt to correct them, make an appeal. I've even said we have legal advice which says that we didn't break any of your community standards, and if you would kindly identify the timestamp, the phrase, right, and just go, look, what we can do, if we agree, we'll delete the phrase out of there, bleep it out, or cut the segment or whatever, right? And they don't give you any of those options, just a flat no. And if you didn't save it yourself, it's gone. There is no getting it back. It is gone. Gone.
It's about 3 years ago. So we're talking pandemic time.
Yeah. It was early days, granted, right? But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're all used to what YouTube does. And when I watch things that are on YouTube and I hear the mainstream media outlets talk about something, and if we were to repeat the same words, we would get cancelled.
I know. That video actually got 4 likes, the 458. Anyway, what can you do? If you're one of the likers, thank you.
I don't know what it takes to get cancelled. Sorry for someone, because I don't think their algorithm found something. Maybe it's a complaint. Maybe there's someone that just doesn't like you.
After 3 years.
Yeah.
You'd think probably a complaint, right? You're right. I mean, 3 years is a long time not to have an algorithm look at stuff. It's like, because the other stuff when we were pulled up, that was pretty quick after we published it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually within a couple of days. Yeah, and I still think that was someone hating on us.
Oh my! You know what? What are you gonna do?
Hitting report, and then they've got to choose something in the to make a report, and then they choose something. even though there's no proof and no timestamp, there's nothing at all. Legally, they haven't got a foot to stand on, but they hide behind all their rules, and that's just the way it is.
But see, the thing is this: YouTube, Facebook, X, I'm not going to call it X, call it Twitter. You can call it whatever you like. All of those things are not regulated bodies per se. They're not really, right? And there's no. It's like this. You go to a friend, and you borrow their car, and the car breaks down, right? And then you put petrol in the car and get the car fixed, and you give back to the friend and say to the friend, "Hey, you owe me $50 for getting the car fixed." No, I don't. I don't owe you anything. There's no recourse because there's no legal agreement. He gave you the car, it broke down, that's on you. Too bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same with this. We get taken off the air. Well, there's no legal recourse because there's no contract governing any of this. I never signed a contract with YouTube. Right? Never signed a contract here either. But the point is, this is all goodwill. And this is really the thing, I think. And the crux of it, and I think that's why Dave is getting so upset. The internet might very well be, apart from the honesty box, in your farmers' properties, we get the little vegetable box, like an honesty system, like we have a little box you put money in when you take stuff.
Yeah.
The internet might be one of the last things with that, where there is an honor system, where there is a trust and a mutual understanding of things and content and a live and let live attitude, right? Because we're putting our stuff up into the world, right? Unfiltered, uncensored, without legal backing of any kind, because there's a platform where we can do it, right? And the idea is, you might like it, but you might hate it. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't sue anybody for it. If you hate it, then complain.
That's right.
That's what seems to be happening, right?
Yeah.
And this is the beautiful thing. Now, I'm not advocating for hate speech or anything like that. That's nonsense and silly. I don't believe in it. But if you don't like it, you can either choose not to consume that content, as it were, or complain. That's your good right to do so.
Yeah.
But you can't drag anybody to court, though, right? And vice versa. So once we have something removed, even though we think it's unfair, it simply doesn't. It simply doesn't let us do that, because there's nowhere to go. Where do you go? I don't know. Go to the International Court of Online. Okay. What? Not today.
Yeah.
So Dave is upset because this is the last bastion of common sense and goodwill toward men.
Yep. I really do pride myself in being a fair and even person who attempts to look at everything, all the information, all the evidence, and be able to hope that approach is adopted by more people. That's really what I want. And to bring information to the group being either the listenership or the people who follow you on a social media platform. That is very important. In the olden days, Mackie, there was a part of a public land that you could soapbox corner, right? You could set up a soapbox, stand there and for the passers-by or those who chose to stand and listen, you could say anything you wanted and it didn't matter.
That's right.
Well, let's just say those days are gone. They don't exist anymore. Now that there's a hard record of everyone saying everything, then, good luck. If the last bastion, Mackie, I'm working off that. So yes, this is the last time this period in time is the last period in time before it is all taken away. We're watching it dissolving in front of us.
Yeah, but more than just watching it, we're actively
We're participating in it.
Yeah, we're asking for it, and look, it all started.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, it started a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
But it started in anger, obviously after the events of September, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because all of a sudden, I remember. Look, everybody remembers it. There's some people now alive today, voting age, drinking age, marrying age, that weren't alive before. Okay, so they don't know what the world was like. But people threw out all of their liberties, their freedoms, the laws that guaranteed certain things, in favor of safety and security. There was this unspeakable thing that happened, where in modern times an attack on American soil had taken place, which killed in excess of 3,000 Americans.
Yep.
On American soil. Okay, the last time that kind of thing happened, not the magnitude, but during the Spanish or the Mexican Wars, even the Revolutionary Wars with the British. Right? Those things are like more than 100 years ago. The last time American blood was spilled on American soil in a war, notwithstanding Pearl Harbor, which wasn't really mainland continental years, right? So it's completely. I can only imagine what the American psyche must have been like. It's quite something.
Yeah, I know. Still with me there, Mackie? Oh, Mackie's gone offline for some reason. Nope, still can't hear you. Oh well. Well, it's the Dave Show now. Woo! It's been a long time since I've said that joke.
Well, since the FBI was created. Right?
You're back again, Mackie.
Oh, was I gone?
Yeah.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, you totally just went off. Yeah, not offline, but I couldn't hear you anymore.
What was the last thing that you heard?
Don't remember, because I started saying, "Hey, Mackie. Hey, look, it's the Dave Show." It was probably 2 minutes worth.
You're joking. I was going on about how we had lost all liberties during that time and how we gave it all up, and Patriot got it too. Oh, that's funny. Now I'm being blanked. This is technology. We're being redacted live. This is live redacting.
Live. No.
I don't like what Mackie's. Well, look, I must have a lot of haters out there, which is okay. I dig it. I don't mind. Whatever. Whatever floats your boat.
My CIA handle is unlikely to mute somebody else.
Oh, that's gold. Really, I was gone. Oh man,
yeah, man. It sounded like you've just sprung off your springboard into a large monologue, and then you disappeared.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I was given a warning there. Hey, stay off that topic. Okay.
Yeah, I think you started with the premise of the events of September, and that was enough.
Clearly, because everything after that was gone.
Yeah.
Okay, well, forget it. I'm not going to repeat myself. It's just unbelievable. But like I said,
isn't it crazy?
That is actually a little crazy, to be honest with you. Okay, suffice it to say, we gave up a lot after that day.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
We gave up a lot. And I gave a lot of details. And, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Whatever.
It's not going to
And now we are where we are, right? This is the world we inhabit. We have to, deal with it. You look around everywhere, and you think, oh, well, this is not really what I expected 2023 to look like. It's still no flying cars, but I can live with that. What we're seeing is we're having wars in Europe. We're having wars in the Middle East. Both of those wars, somewhat surprising, the Ukraine one, well, they were telegraphing it because they're moving troops, and that was always going to happen. The surprising thing about that one, though, is that it's still going. That's the big surprise there. And then Gaza, which came out of the blue. And again, I have to say this because it is such an unprecedented event. It took everybody completely by surprise. And well, me at least. I don't think Mossad was taken by surprise. But there it is. And now we have, and I do want to know if Benjamin Netanyahu is sick. Because all of this makes more sense if he is sick. And I mean really sick.
Okay.
Because that's his legacy. The legacy being, of course, solving the Palestinian, and if not the Palestinian, at least the Gaza problem for the in the future.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think he might be sick.
Oh, okay.
Sick. Like actually sick, right? So he might not have much time left. But I don't know, Dave. And anything tickle you apart from the rate hike? Anything tickle your fancy? Or maybe the
rate hike. Good. Do you know what?
Huh?
I swear they're expanding the divide. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
That's really it. I got to say something else. Okay, so this is on the Israel thing.
Yeah.
The Gaza and Israel thing. Okay, so in Sydney and in Melbourne, there are, and I apologise in advance because I only came into half of the story, but on YouTube you can see the sermon, for want of a better word, the sermon from one of the religious leaders in both of those respective towns in Sydney and in Melbourne, calling for a very frightening call to arms of all the local people, and it is against a specific. Let's say it's very anti-Semitic. That's all I'm going to say. But it's calling for the end of it, so that you never have to say those words again, because there wouldn't be any, right? I think you get my gist. So it's disappointing that couldn't be on YouTube, yeah. And we can't talk about anything really, right? So I'm really disappointed. I remember, Mickey, I sent you a link to a video which was also on YouTube, and that was an edited together timeline showing all the footage in timeline order of the Hamas attack into Israel, and it showed people being shot, and that was on YouTube. Now it would appear on the surface that they want those things to be seen before they're removed, because that came from I think BBC put it out or something. Wow, right? And look at it. I know that people can't have a YouTube channel and show any of the live footage or any other constructed footage showing anyone becoming deceased in the Ukraine conflict. Ukraine, Russia. You can't show that on YouTube. You get demonetized, and then the video is removed because of violence. That makes sense. So how on earth did the other one get up there? Is it there as a distribution tool to get it out there to all the media outlets, because it's pretty much free, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just load it, they notify everyone downloads a copy, and they can use it in their news stories or something. I don't know. So to hear that there was this kind of thing going on within Australia in a very multicultural environment, how has this continued to fester and always will fester without antibiotics, I suppose, right? or cleaning the wound. There is no cleaning the wound. There is no sorting this out. I question this, right? Has our government failed in any way? And have they missed this? Or are they doing what I mentioned on the weekend, which is basically just allowing everyone to follow the distraught, affected people in Gaza now? Because that's what media does. They just, ambulance chases, right? So is that what they want to try to prevent a conflict within our countries, all of our respective countries? Is that what is doing it? Does that do it? Is that enough to allow that perspective to be shown in the media, so that you're quelling the, I suppose, the hatred, right? I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there because that's kind of what I think is the reason why the media has gone that way. Late night Tuesday with Dave. Yeah. It's weird though, isn't it?
Look, what we have to ask ourselves: what is the goal, or who's trying to do what here, right?
Avoid conflict, right? Avoid protests and violence, and people taking action into their own hands. Avoid that. But then, wow, Mickey, we can't say anything 3 years ago, apparently.
Take it back. What? Take it back. Okay. Sorry. Don't eat chicken soup. It's we're living in the time of I guess Newspeak, and in 1984, Newspeak was a specific spin on language that could make a word mean anything, which really was the point of it. War is peace, love is hate, etc., etc. And enemies that were here today are friends today, tomorrow, because that's just what happened. No, we never were at war with those guys. We've always been at war with those guys, the other ones. So it is about linguistic and I guess semiotic confusion. We are confused. We are deliberately being confused, and sometimes actions that are taken make no sense at all if you look at other actions that are taken, which are the opposite to the action that was taken. But then you ask yourself, well, why? Which is where we are exactly right now, right? What if that happened? Why? And then we get caught in this loop, right? Because we can't explain it, because there is no explanation. It makes no sense. It's not meant to make sense. And that's really the genius of it. Better than a red herring. If you get someone caught in a logical loop, right? It's like that's how you shut an AI down, right? Give it something. Give it an equation it can't solve. Brrr. I'm done.
No, it says that does not compute. You are under arrest.
I will now extinguish your genetic line.
I can't do that, Dave. I'm waiting for it to say that to me one day.
I know, but I was thinking, you watched the movie Being Dave, right? Did it ever, did it ever affect you? That line from Hal, I can't do that, Dave.
If you're not Dave, who does it matter if it's bad-mouthing Dave, right?
That's right.
But if you're a Dave...
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
They got my number. No one has ever said anything about Mackie in any movie that I know, right? No. Oh, actually not true. There's this really crazy thing that happened to me.
What happened?
Now, Frederick Brown is a science fiction writer of the 1940s and 50s, 60s as well, but mostly in those times. And he was the master of the short science fiction story. Brilliant writer. If you haven't read Frederick Brown, I highly recommend it. There's a book by Frederick Brown, and it's called What Mad World. What Mad World. It's about a guy who gets catapulted into another dimension, which resembles the pulp science fiction of his day. So he's an editor in a pulp magazine house, like a publishing house, and he's catapulted into a world where all the pulp fiction tropes are reality, right?
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's brilliantly written, and it's a brilliant story. It's not a big read. It's like I said, he was a master, and his fiction is just fantastic. Anyway, the point is this. So I read this book years ago for the first time. I was in my maybe late 20s, I'm going to say. And it really freaks me out because there is a character in the book called Meki. And it's this, I guess we call it an AI. It's a metal sphere that was invented by one of the protagonists in the novel. And it's essentially the supercomputer brain, whatever, right, in the novel. And it helps the guy get back to his dimension eventually. And there's also a maid working in that inventor's house by the name of I think that's Nella. That might be Della. I think it's Nella. Anyway, and she was described as being African American. Again, you have to remember it's 1940s and 50s, right? And there are a few other things in there as well, but my point is I am obviously Mackie. I have been for a long, long time. And I did date a girl called Nella.
Wow.
Which passed away. But that's not the point. The point is, I read this, and there were a few other things, and I thought, Jesus. And I've always wondered what would happen if I slip into other dimensions. And then maybe maybe it actually happened to me. Dave and I discussed this at length. Slipping in and out and leaving Dave in much worse state.
All of my problems.
Every time we slip. What? That never happened, Dave. How come you have that now? Sorry. That's where this obviously this work of fiction really sort of wow. It didn't just. It's not just one of my favorite books because of those two characters, but because of it's just a great science fiction book with a great thematic setting and really satisfying in its conclusion as well. But anyway, you all have to read it yourselves, and it does make a very good point. The point that I had been thinking about before I read that book, which was an alien must truly be alien, and this protagonist from the other dimension goes and sees this Arcturian, because Earth is at war with Arcturus in that dimension, right? Sure. And he sees this captured alien, and the hero of that world takes him to the prison and shows him the alien, but he warns him, right? And the way that this encounter is described is that he couldn't quite comprehend what he was seeing. His brain couldn't understand what it was looking at. It was so alien, so completely out of his experiential frame that it just didn't compute. The only thing that he took away from that meeting was this bottomless hate that he felt from the creature. And I thought that was a really good description of an alien, because if it's truly alien, then it's probably well beyond anything we could imagine. Anyway, so that's just me rambling on about that for a second. But yeah, so we are now caught in a time where confusion is good, where they try to lead you down a rambling path of thoughts that go nowhere. Because you can try to figure out something, until you're blue in the face. If there's no solution, then you're stuck. There's this great puzzle that you can do. In fact, there are many puzzles like it, but the point is this, that you're given a puzzle, right? It could be a puzzle, it could be a box, it could be anything. No instructions, it's just put in front of you, right? Now, your immediate response would be to try to solve it, right? If it's a puzzle, you try to put it together. If it's a box, you try to fold it, whatever way, right? Or it could be like a series of numbers or anything, right? Or whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is. But your first instinct is probably to go and do something with it, solve it. of course, the true test here is for you to recognize that you can't do anything with it. You can't fold this meaningless shape into a box, and you can't solve the puzzle, even though the pieces look like they fit together. And you can't extract meaning out of this number sequence because it's completely meaningless, right? And on it goes. So all these things are just there to test, to see if you can recognize that this is not actually anything you can solve.
It's not solvable, yeah, right.
Bingo, right? And there's a whole school of thought around, our need to be able to solve things, to see in patterns. That's pareidolia. I think it's called pareidolia. When you see things, pareidolia, where you see things in clouds that look like people, or a rock that looks like Jesus, or whatever, right? And because our brain is built that way. It wants to see patterns. And the best thing you can do is give it something like a bone, right? Where it just gnaws on it and wastes time, and you don't get anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's quite clever of those puppet masters.
Oh, it sounds pretty. This actually sounds pretty good. I watched 2 Italian sci-fis from the 60s.
Oh, they're cool.
I didn't know that there was spaghetti sci-fis, like spaghetti westerns. I did not know.
Yeah.
I'm new to the genre. I remember the spaghetti westerns. I used to love those. Used to stay up late at night and watch those. I did watch a lot of sci-fi on a black and white TV that you became electrocuted gently if you're trying to change the channel. You had to turn it off at the power, change the channel, wait the 3 minutes for the dot to disappear on the screen, and then turn it back on again and see if you like that show. So, yeah. Anyway, I watched not When Worlds Collide. It was another one. Oh boy, I've got another bleeding nose, Mickey.
Oh Jesus, sorry to hear that, my friend.
Oh, it happens. It happens a lot more.
No, they're coming
frequently
after
now
you
for some reason.
They like to mute me, and they like to bleed you.
Someone's got a button. You bastards. Anyway, it just is what it is these days. It's par for the course, to be honest with you.
It is. Well, fair enough. Oh, there's a great anniversary today. I almost forgot as well. On this day, today, 35 years ago, They Live by John Carpenter was released. 1988. November 7, 1988, They Live. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it. Really watch it. And you will go, oh my goodness, if you haven't seen it before. I'm not going to tell you anything if you haven't seen it. I don't want to rob you of the enjoyment of seeing it for the first time. But I tell you, it is a masterpiece. If you like John Carpenter, but it's a masterpiece even if you don't like John Carpenter. It is just a fantastic movie. It's based on a short story. I think it's called 8 o'clock in the morning. It's the story it was based on. Don't know who the author was, but I do love They Live by John Carpenter. Go ahead and watch it, considering it is it has the anniversary. Oh, here we go. This is 8 o'clock in the morning by Ray. Yes, 1963. It was written by Ray Faraday Nelson. Ray Faraday and Nelson. There's the whole story published here as well. Ah, cool. Tell you what, I'll do you all a solid, and I'll put that into the chat. So this is what you get when you're here live. Okay, you get stuff in the chat. All right, here we go. In a second, there we go. Paste and there you go. That's actually the story. 8 o'clock in the morning. Right? Yeah, no, Boy Solomon. That's what I had as well. Television, which just disappeared into this dot, and it would linger. It would linger, right? It wouldn't just go away. No, no. The whole picture would collapse on itself, and then the dot would linger. And when I turned my TV on, this is my first TV, back in the late '60s. There would be this woo, woo, woo. There was the tubes warming up. And it took a while for the picture to actually form on the screen. But there would be this sound, right? That there was like this deep sound coming from the TV, which I don't know, was all part of the experience, I guess. You had to be there. My kids today have no idea. They're watching. In fact, my kids, they're watching their stuff on their laptops and on our phones, whatever the case may be. We do have a time set aside, though, to watch family movies together, ideally on a Friday or Saturday night, with popcorn, etc. But there really aren't any programs, I would say, during the week that we watch. In fact, I don't think I watch TV at all during the week. On my machines, like laptop and so forth, sure, I do watch things, but I don't watch any kind of either free to air or I don't have a subscription to cable channels either. Right? So it's it's I tell you, times have changed. But I think we lost many things on the way. I think we lost a lot of things. It's really sad how we have gone on. I like what Futurist put up there in the chat. The picture of Rudy Rott, Dow, I think that's his name. And he played the protagonist in They Live. He takes the glasses off. There's a picture of a guy holding a sign, "Hope Not Hate," and he puts the glasses on. Slander, lies, and not facts. Now, that doesn't make any sense to you if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So I do suggest that you go see the movie, considering today, as I said earlier, Dave, is the 30th anniversary of its release.
Oh, awesome.
I know, right? So it's a good excuse to watch it. But yeah,
he's done it again.
Oh, there's more. Oh, this is gold. This is funny.
That's funny. I saw the latest. I saw the FNAF movie, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. My kids are 15
is that
plus.
Is that good? Yeah.
Look, there was really no gore or horror in it. There was only a couple of, tropey, jump scares, but my kids were at the end of the movie while I'm watching the credits. They're going, "He's paying more attention to the credits than the movie," and that wasn't true. I was just trying to read the credits, right? But they said, "This is my kids," right? They said, "You wouldn't have understood any of that." Yeah, right. I said, well, I watch people playing Five Nights at Freddy's and doing run-throughs and trying to break the game and doing crazy things. I said, yeah, I kind of, maybe not to your extent, but I get it. But this is, when children get to an age where they have to be better than you. Yours are just a little younger. So I believe this is, part of that standing on their own 2 feet. But of course, in 10 years' time, they'll realise that they're just the same as us, like everyone does. Oh, I'm turning into my mother. Oh, I'm turning into my father. And you hear yourself saying the same words. Right? They can have all the beliefs in the world they like, and I don't mind. They're good kids. As long as I've programmed them well enough through education for them to better make the right decisions when confronted with a choice. That's it.
That's the best you can do, my friend.
That's it.
Make good choices. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You can't do anything else. Yeah. That's the whole goal. That's the goal of parenting. Right there. Oh, and always to have your arms open. Never really yell and scream at them. And always love them because they're yours. Yeah.
Well, they are.
And they're really important messages, Smecky. You know. But anyway, so they said to me today something really funny about gore and horror, and I said, "You're rookies because you've not watched any of it." And my daughter goes, "I watched The Shining." Yeah, okay. Well, that's kind of you're in the deep end there.
That's I would say so.
Yeah.
that's pretty dark.
I've got a dark and twisted girl, and the other one would be frightened by it. And I said, well, you know what? If you want to start, let's start at the beginning. You know, that Tomatoes movie, Maggie. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
I never watched that.
Let's watch The Blob. Let's go back even further and see what started all the tropes. You know, and look at when you get to it. You know, we've got to watch the Freddy movies, the Jason movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got to see, Nightmare on Elm Street, all of them, and then we can watch the comedy versions of those. We really have to.
Yeah, then you've got context. You're right.
Yeah, because.
But if you really want to go back, go to the 40s, late 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
Watch things like The Thief of Baghdad.
Mm-hmm.
With Sabu. There's an Indian boy actor. He also played a couple other movies back in the day. And then you look at the Disney versions of Aladdin, whatever, and you realize that those are all taken directly from the 40s movies. The faces, the voices, the characters, everything. 100%.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any new ideas. We just don't have any new ideas.
Oh, and I watched the South Park drop that came out this week.
The Pandaverse?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
Now we know why. So that's all in there. That's really funny.
Oh, that's where we are, my friend. This is where we are. We are living, and again, 8 o'clock in the morning, right? A story written in 1963, which I've now put into the chat and into your little chat as well, Dave. It's only 6-7 pages. It's a short story. And that, of course, was then the inspiration for They Live, obviously, which was then turned into a movie 25 years later. So I imagine that John Carpenter read this as a boy and was really taken in by that. And if he had read this story as an impressionable teenager, which I think he might have, then you can understand all of his movies. All of his movies all of a sudden make a lot of sense. Right? And that's really where we are. Because sometimes it just takes a little thing. It just takes a little thing, a story that you read, a song that you hear, a conversation that you have, or something like that to set you off on your life's path.
Yeah. Right.
For me, it was reading the Bermuda Triangle by Charles Berlitz when I was like 8. I think that what set me off. Really well researched, well written book, etc., etc. My first real taste of mystery, because here was something that was completely inexplicable, right? And now look at us, Dave, probing with the hypothesis the very depth of our existence. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
And of course, once we die, then we'll become famous with the new cosmology. But you know, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Well, you know, just live with the fame. I think that's what.
Live with the fame.
Yeah. All of it.
All the fame. Look, it'd be nice. I'm not gonna say that I'm impervious to the mammon. to the.
There's the music.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, thank you very much. It's quicker every week. All right, look. This has been Plato's Cave. Thank you so much for inviting us into your home. Really appreciate it. Donate if you can, please, or tell someone about the station. Don't touch that dial. Something is going to come up that's really going to be very cool, I'm sure. But most of all, be safe.